Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry it's really dark and I'm driving and it's dark outside, so I do apologize. I'm probably even going to put my phone down because it's more of a listen than anything. I'm just trying not to pick up so much road noise. Um, but let's see what I can do here. So, I wanted to talk about part of my last video was kind of about how I was feeling in my spirit, like witchcraft and like a sense of uneasiness. Like I just haven't had any energy. I wasn't able to do the things that I wanted to do, and I wasn't sure because, I look at it like little old me, like who is threatened enough by me that they feel like they need to take time out of their life to attack me, spiritually or otherwise. I'm like, what? I don't do nothing to anybody. So, of course I'm not perfect. I'm sure I piss people off at some point in time in the day, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not an intentional. So, I, was just like, maybe I'm just crazy. I'm like, there's no witchcraft here. This is just me being stupid. I don't know what it is. So I kind of prayed about it, right? I was just like praying to God, like, if there is some sort of attack on me right now, just reveal it to me, kind of show me. And so last night, or kind of this morning, he did. And I was like, is there a specific person? Like, is it multiple people? Like, what's happening? And I kind of had thought that it was one person. And, because it's kind of like iffy. Let's go back to the beginning. I'm trying not to make this video too long, but I just gotta speak my piece. So it is what it is. So y'all know that I started at a new site for my job after my T-cart and everything. Like, I went back up to full time, but I went to a different site than the one that I've worked at for the last 4 years. Okay. So it has been, and God led me here because I wasn't happy. I didn't want to be at my other site anymore. It was a lot of drama, and I'm just not about that, Like, I got too much to do in a day to deal with a bunch of cattiness, and I don't got time for it. So I came here to this site, and it's a busy site, and they can't keep a phlebotomist because the girls are mean. Like, the medical assistants and the doctors are okay, but the medical assistants, they're not very nice. They're not very nice. And so it's fine. It is what it is. Like, I wasn't there. I'm not trying to make friends. I already told them. I already put them on notice. Like, I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just trying to come to work because I only answer to one boss. Okay, they're not my bosses. We work together. I don't work for you. And that's the problem that they were having. They had a bunch of young phlebotomists that were there, and they were like, oh, well, these people are mean. And so my boss would like take them out and put them somewhere else. And then she couldn't keep anybody to staff it. And it's very, 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 very busy. And so I was like, it is what it is. It didn't bother me. It really didn't bother me. I actually loved the busy, and it was fine. And so, as the weeks have gone on, we're fine. They know. They ask me for something, I deliver for the most part, no problems. But like the last couple weeks have been like nothing but, oh, you're amazing, and I'm not the type of person, like I appreciate the praise, but like I you know what I mean? I don't ask for it. I don't go searching for it. I just go to work, do my job, and then I go home. And so even the patients are like, oh, she's so great, blah, blah, blah. You found your calling. And I'm like, thank you. And I'm like, Lord, what is happening? It even got to the point where like I'm in the break room and the employees are coming to me and they're like, you know what? You're doing a great job. And like one of the front desk ladies, she bought me a gift card. Like, she's like, you have been amazing. You have been my saving grace. And I was like, what did I do? I was like, I didn't even do anything. I was like, why are you doing this to me? Like I appreciate it, but I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I like to be seen, I like to fly under the radar, like to just go in there, sneak in, do what I got to do, and then leave. Like, I'm not trying to be employee of the month. I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. And like, people were like, we see you. And they were like, the big bosses are talking, and she's like, everybody that matters is talking about you, and it's a positive situation. And I was like, oh my goodness. So like that was like the ramping up of this, like, I don't want to say this is my downfall week, but this week, it's only Wednesday, but Monday and Tuesday were like, Monday was crazy. Like, it was just chaotic. Everything was out of control. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But it still wasn't like, oh my God, you suck and we hate you. It was just a busy day. But I'm like, what's happening though? Like, it wasn't right. Something wasn't right. Like, it was off, you know? And I was like, what is wrong? And I haven't had any energy, and then I wasn't feeling well, and it was just a whole lot going on. And I'm like, why do I not have any energy? You know, it was my time of the month, and that's always a little like crazy, but it was a different kind of tired. Like, just I was completely drained. I couldn't even like stay awake to do my schoolwork on Sunday. I was just so drained. And I'm like, this isn't me. Like I said, I couldn't get up and pray. I was supposed to get up and do my prayers and stuff like that, and I couldn't do it. Like, something was blocking me from reading and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. And so originally, when I took over the site, the permanent person that was there ended up moving on to a different position. So, but she's still in the building. Okay. So, she kind of like came in, and like I had rearranged the stuff the way I wanted it, and she kind of came in and rearranged it back. She's like, this doesn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense to you, but it made perfect sense to me. And so I kind of rearranged it back, because she came in to help one day, and I rearranged it back, and I was like, don't do that. And so she was like, okay, and kind of left it alone. And my boss was like, yeah, no, she can't do that. And I was like, no. And so since then, it's been relatively quiet, but I don't know. I don't think that she thought I was going to stay here as long as I did, because everybody has been in and out. And the reason why they've been in and out, it's because the Lord showed me that it was her who was putting the witchcraft on me. And everything started, like, when I saw her face this morning, everything started to like make sense. Like how it will pick up and be great for 1 minute, and then something will happen and it triggers like a downfall. For those other people, it didn't trigger that for me. I just pushed harder. And I knew after, I hadn't seen her in a while. Like, we communicate every time through like our Teams or Skype or whatever, because I have to ask her questions at some point in time. But she hadn't, but otherwise we don't like see each other. So after Monday was a really, really off day. Like, an off day. Like, I was off my game. Like, I didn't miss anybody, but I was like off my game. It wasn't as great, it was so busy, and everything was all over the place. It was just chaotic. And so most people after that would have just left. Like, the other people were like, that were there, that were coming to float and help out, they were like, we're not coming back here anymore. We can't do it. So I noticed how she came in yesterday. I see her. This is before I had my dream, obviously, but yesterday I had seen her. And I like came around the corner, and she was just standing in my lab. And I was like, oh, hi, good morning, and I gave her a smile and everything, and she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. And I didn't realize like she had kind of scared me. I was like, yeah, you actually did kind of scare me. Like, she kind of like, I wasn't expecting to see her there, and she's like, I didn't mean to scare you, I was like, okay. She's like, I need to borrow some tubes. And she was just kind of like staring at me, like kind of staring into my soul, like, trying to gauge where I was and what I was going to do type deal. And I told her, I was like, no, because I had ordered some supplies and I was out of needles. I was like, that's like going to the KFC and not having no chicken. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I need needles. And since they consider her area the lab as well, but it's just the processing lab. So I was like, I didn't get my supplies. And I told her this when she was standing there. I was like, I didn't get my supplies. I was like, we had to call over there yesterday and have the other guy let us know that they were there. I was like, it was like a week ago. And it said on my ordering site that she had signed for it. And I was like, I'm out of stuff. And I ordered it like a week ago. And it said that you signed for it. She was like, oh, well, I don't always know that it's for you. What do you need these for? She doesn't need these supplies. She's like, sometimes Shayna, our boss, orders the supplies too. And so sometimes I have to wait. So you had to wait an entire week to figure out that it wasn't for her? I'm like, I'm out of stuff. So I was like, whatever. I was like, okay, no problem, no worries. I was like, we got it and we handled it and I have plenty of things that I need and it's perfectly fine. So I'm not really worried about it. But it was just one of those things at the moment. I was just like, oh, okay, no problem. But as I think about it now, I'm like, okay, so you're just trying to sabotage me. So I was like, okay. And so she was kind of like trying to feel me out, you know, and then she got what she needed and then she left. And I was like, okay, no worries. But then this all came to me as God showed me her face. I was like, that's really what's happening. So I'm just like, okay, you know, everything's fine. I'll figure it out. But then I had a dream, right? After he showed me her face, I had a dream about I was in Louisiana or somewhere and I was trying to get on a raft. One of those, like, I don't know what they're called, you know, like the little raft things that go on like the swamp areas and stuff like that. And he told me what they were called in my dream, but I don't remember. And he was like, yeah, let's go. And all I remember was there were like alligators. There was a couple of alligators and they were just like in the water, kind of like lurking. They weren't attacking. They weren't anything like that. They weren't attacking. And I remember my daughter was standing there at some point, but I mean, nobody got eaten by an alligator, but it was just, and then I was like, I want to do a trick. And it was like, this ended up being like a raft. It wasn't the, you know how they're like powered by a fan? It wasn't one of those fan powered ones. It was like a raft with a stick. And we were kind of like pedaling our way, pushing our way through the swamp. And I was like, I want to do a trick. And I wanted to like spin around in the water. So I'm like spinning around in the water. And like, I remember the raft kind of goes under the water and was making all these waves. And then it came back up and we kept on floating right along. So I'm like researching this interpretation of this alligators. And alligators are like basically a sign of witchcraft to an extent. Or like something lurking in the water and stuff like that. It's like an attack, but it was just lurking there. It's not necessarily actively, it's not like she goes home and sits there daily and like is trying to get to me, but she's actively, there's a threat. But I don't know, I haven't had time to really sit there and be like, I don't know what it means for me to be spinning all over the place, and I guess me keep pushing through. I mean, alligators also represent like the spirit of Leviathan and pride. I don't have a whole lot of that. I mean, everybody has pride in some situation or another, but like, I'm not really a boastful person, you know, so I don't really know where that's going or where God's trying to tell me about that. But I mean, it'll all come to pass at some point in time. But all I need to know now is that as far as we're going to enter into some spiritual warfare here, and I'm not going anywhere. So I don't know what happens from here. This is the first time I've had to deal with this. So I guess we'll just keep you posted on the journey. Thank you guys for listening. I hope it wasn't too long. What is that? 13 minutes? That's not too bad. All right. I hope you all have a blessed day. If anybody has any insight, feel free to share it. I love you all. Bye.